What's going on, guys? Zach and Spence here from iTrendz coming at you guys with another watch list on a Sunday. It is the 7th of August. Let me check that really quickly. Yep, the 7th of August. We are going into a really, really important week. On the week, we've got CPI this week. That is going to be extremely, extremely important. And everybody, I promise you, has their eyes on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. is the release. Everybody has their eyes on it. We had technically two negative GDPs in a row, and be right before we got GDP the last time that technically put us in a technical recession. We had CPI. That CPI was the worst. We were expecting a little bit worse, but it actually came in hotter than we were expecting, and that was not so good of a day for the market. This time, let's see what we're expecting here, Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. For the month-over-month core, we're expecting 0.5%. Previously, it was 0.7%. For the year-over-year core, it was 6.1% that we're expecting now. Previous was 5.9%. So we're actually expecting a little bit of an increase there. And then on the month-over-month, on the regular CPI, expected is 0.2%. Previous was 1.2%. And then the expected for the year-over-year is 8.7%, and previous was 9.1%. So those are high numbers. CPI, like I said, everybody's going to be paying attention to it, so we got to be paying attention to what the numbers come in at. If we are high on the year-over-year numbers and the year-over-year figures, we could see some significant downside in the market, because that means that inflation is still not, it's still persisting and is not going away, and so therefore that is going to kind of give a little bit of an indication, excuse me, of more restrictive policy from the Fed. Right now we have, I believe, if I remember correctly, 70%. We are pricing in 70% of a 75 basis point hike in September. So that would then go really close to like 85, 90%, which would then cause a lot of selling pressure to come into the market. So watch those year-over-year numbers. That's going to be really, really important. It is also going to be interesting to see if our month-over-month numbers are coming down. If they are coming down, if our month-over-month numbers we miss on the expectations, and it's actually way below expectations, but a year-over-year is right on par or just slightly above, we will likely see a sell-off initially, but I'm not sure if we will see a continuation of a sell-off thereafter, or like a seriously hard sell-off in the market for days to come. The reason being is because that will kind of that'll literally bring the Fed's fund rate down for the percentage chance that a 75 basis point is coming in September. But with that being said, let's get right into the charts here. Hopefully you guys notice that we changed the background right here. There's now gray instead of black, so hopefully it's not all pixelated. It was very odd why it was pixelated. I don't know, we use Zoom to record these, so hopefully you guys can actually see this and it's not pixelated and it's actually coming through really, really clear. We wanted to fix that for you guys. With that being said, we do hope that you guys are enjoying these watch lists and our other videos that we've been posting. If you haven't noticed, we've been posting lots and lots of content recently, lots of shorts content and lots of regular content. Feel free to check it out on our channel, iTrendz Trading, of course. Give a subscription if you are liking the videos. And of course, a thumbs up really helps us out. And a comment is the most helpful for us because it gives us your feedback and we can actually, decipher what we need to either implement or take away from our videos. But that being said, let's get into the QQQ chart. So it's very interesting. Last week we had, well, a slew of green days, lots and lots of green, right? We had 6 green days, I believe this is, or actually, no, it's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green days in a row. That's a long stretch of green. We haven't had, I believe that was actually a stat. I believe that we haven't had this long of a stretch of greens on NASDAQ since September of last year. Don't quote me on it, but I'm very confident that that's the case. This is a long green streak. We are going to need a pullback. We aren't quite yet overbought on the daily. We're getting close to it. You can see down here I have the RSI. On the weekly, I believe we're just over 50 here. I don't have the numbers on the side here, but this is about 50. We're just at 50 right here. If you recognize on the RSI and the weekly, the last time we came and tapped 50 and we actually rejected, this was right after we had the invasion of Ukraine, unfortunately, back in March. And then after that, we had the FOMC and we had a nice 3-week rally almost. And then after we hit 50 on the weekly RSI, we had that major pullback where we had 5 or, well, actually, this is more like 8 weeks of red. Ironic how that is. So as we approach this 50 level on the RSI and the weekly, we got to be paying attention to that as we are approaching this 330 on QQQ, which we've talked about numerous times, if not every single time we've done a watch list video. If you guys are watching, you guys paying attention. This 330 level that's above us right here is very, very important. So with that being said, as far as daily levels, if you're looking to take quick trades to the upside above this 322, towards this 325. Nice little scalps here, opportunities above 325. We can see ourselves pushing towards that 330 top, essentially the wick on the other side over here, which we'll take a look at in a second. And then daily levels here underneath this 319.38. Really, this is a zone in between this 318.40 and the 319.38. But underneath this zone here, we could see ourselves come back down to this 315. Now, what's really interesting here, just to show you that wick, you can't really see too much of a wick here, I guess on the daily doesn't show the wick, but the hourly, lots and lots of wicks up here in this 330 space, right? So this is the top side level that we're looking at. This is the 315 level that we're looking at here in the white. So underneath this 315 here is where we actually have a break of structure. It's going to be very interesting if we start trading underneath it, and by that I mean if we start trading underneath it and using it as resistance, we are going to then begin our descent to 300. Now, coming down to 300 doesn't necessarily put the bulls in a bad place. It's just a well-needed cool-off after this extreme big upside here over the past month and a half, right? But in everything considered above 300 here, a pullback to 300, the bulls, you shouldn't be really necessarily scared at that point unless we're pricing in big hikes in September, November, and December meetings. And then we can expect the selling pressure to continue. We can actually see ourselves back down towards these lows here. Another thing that we got to be careful and wary of is this whole China-Taiwan scenario with Nancy Pelosi and all this other stuff that's going on. So that's something that we got to pay attention to. So anyway, I've got a few stocks that I'm going to go into, and then Spencer's going to go into a few of his stocks. First, we can check out Roblox. Roblox is slightly an earnings play. However, there is a nice day trade potential on it. You get going in the morning. If we're pushing towards the top side levels on QQQ and actually pushing strong above this 50 level, make sure it's the 50. You can see that we wicked off at 49.90. Make sure you're above that wick before you take the trade. But above 50, we can see ourselves back towards this 52 area. It's this really a zone in between 51.16 and 52, basically 53 here. So above that 50 level, you can see us trending towards that 53. On the downside, I believe Spencer had underneath 48, at least down to this 46 as far as scalp trades. Personally, I am looking to actually take a LOTTO earnings trade on this and short it. It's up 150% from the lows. I understand that they got some bullish stuff going on. Spencer was talking about that they got bullish stuff coming from the back in May when they reported. I'm saying that user base was up, the daily average users was up, but after 150% upside from 20 to now almost $50, I mean, it's worth the risk or reward to take out a short, in my opinion. This is a risky portion of the trade. However, the day trades, of course, are just day trades. That's a lot less risky to take than an earnings trade. On the upside, if you're going to take it above that 50 level, these 50 contracts look really good. If, however, they're a little too pricey for you, I wouldn't go any further than these 56s. They're actually loading these 56s right here pretty hard in the 60s as well. I wouldn't go out on the 60s. That's a little too far, in my opinion. But the 56s or the 55s is where you should be on the max side if you're taking it above. And then if you're taking it below the 48, these 45s look nice. I mean, if you wanted to be a little closer to the money, take the 47s. That'll be a little bit more expensive at the time because you're looking for that 48 break. I do like these 45s, though. These will be a little expensive, of course, at the time as well. But I do like these 45s. Stick to that. As far as a short for earnings, if we do push up to that 52 pre-earnings, I believe earnings are Tuesday evening. We can confirm that in a second here. I'm looking at these 43 puts. They're going to be nice and cheap. It's going to be very, very little risk to me. I'm going to pick up a few. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's a LOTTO trade earnings. That's what I had to bring to you. Let's see what let's see, it's Monday, Tuesday. So Tuesday after hours. So look for that.
Tuesday after.
Yeah. All right, so Affirm, we're going to go over next here. So Affirm was a great trade. We absolutely banged it on Friday from 67 cents to $1.15. The contracts went even higher, about $1.60. It was a really, really great trade off this demand balance. So what I'm looking for is a continuation here. Again, if we have strength in QQQ above this 33.71, I can see us trending towards this 35 zone with a take profit at 34.60 and then 35. Very, very nice zone in there. Of course, it's a round number, so it's a little bit of a psychological level right there at 35. But underneath is a little difficult for me to take until 30. So I am looking for us to be trading underneath this demand bounce that we essentially took on Friday, underneath this 31 demand. If we start trading underneath here, I can see ourselves sliding back down to 26 and then down to 23 as well. So let's take a look at the contracts here. For the upside, I like these 35s. That's where you stick for the 35s. Underneath, right, we're looking for that break below, a few points below where we're at here, 28. Probably look towards the, honestly, probably stay right at the money, 28 or 27 puts there. Boom. So underneath that 30 level, yeah, 28, 27 puts, maybe in those 29 puts. Let's go back here, take a look at those. Yeah, we'll probably take those 29 puts. I like those as well. All right, let's keep it moving here. We want to make it nice and quick for you guys. Upstart is another trade that I'm looking at here, and we'll toss the mic to Spence. This is another earnings trade. However, I'm really kind of just watching Upstart. I do like the upside trade here. It's nice potential, but as you can see, it's really weak. So it's kind of a little convoluting for earnings. I might even take out an earnings straddle, not a real straddle, option straddle, but just buy a call and buy a put, and equal pricing, and whichever leg loses, and the other one hopefully pays for that leg's loss and more, right? That's the idea with that. So it's been struggling down at these low levels despite us been bouncing for about a month and a half now. So it's a little convoluting as to why that is, right? They released some bad news over here that had a big drop, right? So I'm a little reluctant to short here for some odd reason. I'm a little reluctant to short here, just like they tried to keep it down. So they've been accumulating because it hasn't had low volume or anything by any means, but it's just a little odd in this lower range. So I'm paying attention to it. But anyway, above this 29.80, really this 30-ish level, but this 29, as you can see here, is a little zone. You got some wicks up the top side here too as well. But above this 29.89 zone, I can see ourselves pushing up to this 31. That would be an amazing trade right here. And then above this 31, you can see us really pushing towards this 34. So if that happens to occur between Monday and Tuesday, they have their earnings after hours on Tuesday. Between Monday and Tuesday, I'll be taking the trade long. If we get confirmation above 31.24, it's a load the boat all the way to 34. Underneath this 27.34 is what I'll be looking to play shorts. And I'll be looking to take profit here. Draw this out right here and get a price level 25, and then next price level down here at 23.46. As far as the contracts here, let's go into the chain. A little expensive. Let's see, a little expensive right at the money. I like these 35s for the upside there. It might even be worth like loading a 35 right off the bat. If you get that break above 30, might even be worth loading a 35 to hold, and then day trade, like scalp trade some other contracts here. Let's see the short side. Short side, I like these 24s. I really like these 25s as well. 24s and 25s on the short side, and the 35s and maybe 34s for a day trade, and the 35s for like a hold trade above 30 here for the contracts. But with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Spencer. We're going to check out some of his trades.
Let's go to CHWY. CHWY had an amazing trade. We had a nice quick scalp on Friday that paid very well. I'm still looking to come right back to this name. I'm looking for that top side to get over this 44.5 level, possibly take into a 46 call. Looking to just take it right off the top. If we see a little retracement down to 43.88, I'll be looking to see if it can break under 42, potentially to take it on the week down to the 40 strike. But it's kind of straddled right here in the middle. We did see a lot of volume come in, and it's stacking green days with CPI Wednesday. I am looking at those 40s for the put side, taking it through the week as a swing trade, just depending. If it can't push up over that 46, potentially 48 level, then taking it short down to 40 is what I'm going to be looking at middle of the week. My number one trade of the week is Disney. Everybody knows here I am a Disney bull, always long time Mouse House, so other nickname for me. Disney, very interesting here. Got over that 100 level. Took a nice break. We're all the way up to that 110. Couldn't confirm over, and now we've kind of chopped in this range. We didn't drop 105, which is really interesting to me. Me personally, I am still in some 105 calls for earnings. Earnings are on Wednesday, so CPI may mess up those just a little bit or make them even more volatile than they already are. Park numbers have increased. They do have a nice lineup coming with Wakanda 2, Black Panther 2 coming out. So that'll be interesting to see if that will keep the name more bullish. ESPN has been one of their top providers when it comes to news. So they've been providing $4 billion, I believe, in returns for Disney. And with football season come right around, they'll be top notch as well. So I'm looking over 107.65 to be getting into those 110 calls for earnings and holding through. Not really interested on the short side. I don't see Disney falling too much here. Honestly, potential low side being that 100 break is what you'd be essentially looking for. But here at Disney, I think risk reward to the top side is prevalent with our hold over 100. And I'll be focusing those 110 calls for earnings on Wednesday. So just something to keep your eye on. Last but not least, let's go to NCLH or Norwegian. I was looking at the financial statement. This is one of the stronger financial statements that we have when you're looking between Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and as well as Carnival. Me personally, I'm looking just two levels, over 1340 or under 1268. Those are two levels I'm looking for. Like I said, this is going to be Tuesday morning, so we are going to be looking to load these more like Monday afternoon, kind of late going into close. But I could see a pop. We did see a little consolidation here. Bottom side eventually is that $10 range. So under that 1268, I'll be looking at $12 puts, or over that 1340, just looking to take some 14s. Really cheap contracts here, so not a lot of risk when you're looking in this name. So I play close to the money whichever way this level's up. But I do see some upside with this, with Royal Caribbean coming out with that big offering that they had to do. Norwegian hasn't had to do that recently, and they've been able to have a steady line of cruises reopen up. So I can see this potentially push back up from 14, potentially go test that 16, 17 range for earnings. But it's just one of those names for earnings that I'll keep on the list. Roblox is another name that I've been watching. Like Zach said, he knocked out those levels, and that's what I got for you this week.
All right, so that wraps up our watch list. Hopefully it was nice and short, straight to the point for you guys. Again, we really appreciate you guys watching. Please, if you could, leave us some type of feedback. If it's good, we want to know. If it's bad, we also want to know. Even more if it's bad. Please leave us some feedback. Comments really help. Check out our links in the description. We just released an options journal. It is completely free. Please feel free to check it out. It is the #1 trading tool. It is the most important tool for any trader is your journal. Journaling real time, what your trades are, what mistakes you're making, what you're doing well, so you can do more of what you're doing well and make sure that you're making your mistakes become something advantageous to yourself and actually correcting those. In real time, it's very easy to forget over time what you're making as far as a mistake or what you're doing correct. And so when you're journaling in real time, it's a lot easier to look back and be like, yeah, you're really monitoring it day by day, week by week, month by month, how your progress is looking. And then on top of that, it's good to see a cumulative P&L and a win rate as well, which is automatically calculated for you inside of the sheet. But with that being said, it's been Zach and Spence from iTrendz. Hit that subscribe button if you like the video, and we will see you next time.